How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the one trade that I took on NQ. Took this in the evening. The morning session, I didn't take a single trade. Came back in the second half of the day, hit a single win. We're up 381 on the day, so a nice win for us today. I'll go over why I took that in just a second, but coming into the day, let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame and just get an idea of where we're at. So we've been selling off past couple weeks. We've been trending down. Today we were opening pretty weak. We had broken new lows, and then we're heading into the morning. So looking at that continuation of a downtrend. I pull up the 5-minute chart here, looking at the volume profiles. So we have yesterday's price action, right? Yesterday we had a pretty good sell-off. Then we had a bounce at the end of the day. From there, overnight session, we kind of just chopped sideways between about like 20,500, 20,580 or so. Trading in that range. In the pre-market, we started to break lower, and then we opened right near kind of that pre-market low. So right off the open, we came down, we tested that pre-market low, we moved back up, and we kind of chopped around in here for a while. There was a couple things I was watching. So if we were continuing this downtrend, one thing that I was watching was the test and rejection off of this value area low from the overnight session. I wanted to see price test this level and reject. And while we kind of got that, we had some pretty serious volatility, right? So you can see price failing to close above it, but we also see wicks about 60, 70, 50 to 70 points above that level. So taking a short here was kind of off the table because I didn't have an appropriate risk management system to kind of use here. Usually I would like to see some sort of confirmation on the 5-minute and then take a trade and use that the 5-minute confirmation candle as my risk. But with the length of these wicks and just the magnitude of the chop that we were getting, pretty much bouncing from like 260 to 400, it's over 100 point swings in consecutive 5-minute candles. So nothing there for me at the moment. And then we started to drop lower. Once we dropped lower, I didn't have any levels down here, so nothing really for me there. That's why in the morning session I didn't take a trade. I was trying to base it off of these value areas, and we had dropped below it. We did get, like I said, a little bit of a retest. That's kind of what I wanted to see, but not to the magnitude of the volatility that we were seeing. So just didn't really like the risk to reward there. Additionally, in terms of a target, I would have had 30 points as my take profit on my initial take profit, and then as far as a runner, maybe low a day or something. But like I said, it's a little bit too volatile. We did get this wick right here on about 25 minutes after open, where we came up and wicked just short of that value area low, and then got a big sell off. So maybe a potential here, but not really according to what I was watching. So let's get into the trade that I did take. We got a nice move off the bottom here. So we formed a low here, a higher low here, and then we kind of had this little triangle, like it's almost like a bear flag or like a wedge here that we formed, and we broke out to the upside and we started climbing. When I came back, we were somewhere around this price point, and what I was watching was a break and hold of this this value area low, break and hold and potential continuation up to that point of control, which we did get, but I came in kind of late and did not enter this trade. So I watched it move up. It ran really nice, but the trade that I did take was this short once we had touched this point of control from the overnight session. So you see price ran up pretty aggressively, came up and wicked pretty much right off this point of control here around, I guess it just about missed it, but 20,500 or so. I entered on this candle, took a single, took 6 contracts, sold 5 of them at 30 points as per usual. And then I adjusted my runner to these wicks. So we had this wick here and this wick here. right around that like 430, and that's where my runner was hit for take profit as well. So pretty nice trade on the day. One thing that I will say, and I guess I should say that my stop loss was above this wick here. So I had about a 20-point stop loss, 30-point initial take profit, a little over 40 points, 44 points on the second take profit. Looking at how I could have done better here, there's been a lot of room on these positions to capture a bigger move than what I have. And that's something that happened in yesterday's session. If you remember, I took a short here, and then I was out once we'd broken low a day. It was a nice win, happy with it. But you can see we dropped like hundreds of points after that. Similarly, on this trade here, and this is something that it fits with my strategy, it fits with my idea, my concept. So really just could try to maximize the amount of profit I'm able to make with my runner. I like that 30-point take profit because it secures a nice win, and then I'm risk off for the remaining contract. But what we did do is we rejected off this point of control, and look at where we rotated back down to that value area low, right? So that value area low is there, and we wicked right off it before making a massive run up. So could have played this two ways, right? We could have played the rejection and rotation back to value area low. We also could have played that return to value area low and look for the continuation of this uptrend. At this point, we had set higher highs on the day, and we actually were above where we opened. So we had reversed from a downtrending day to an uptrending day. So there was a potential way to trade this both ways, right? You could have looked for the rejection off the point of control back down to that value area low, or you could have waited for this pullback to the value area low and look for continuation up. Potentially to point of control or value area high. Either one of those would have worked. Yeah, and then we see how price reacted to that value area high. We got a quick rejection, not a whole lot of a move off of it. We kind of chopped around for a little bit, but we did eventually break and hold it and then make a nice move to the upside. So there was a lot of potential in the second half of the day. In the first half, it was pretty volatile, pretty choppy. But the second half of the day provided some really nice setups. So one and done. It was a quick trade. I was in and out in, I don't know, 4 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes. We love that. That's easy. No drawdown, no stress. Just how we'd plan it, how we'd like it. But like I said, I could have, you can see I got out at 433. We dropped all the way down to 351. So about another 80 points from where I got out. I think one thing that I can do to improve is really trying to maximize the amount that I get and I capture on that runner. Another 80 points is another $160 profit. Had I looked to take profit around that value area low rotation, would have worked out pretty well. So just reviewing this and looking at how I can maximize things and come away with even bigger wins. And then that also helps with the risk to reward ratio in terms of really outsizing my winners as opposed to my losses. We have made quite a comeback. Last Friday had a big drawdown day, and we were up about 500. So we're up about 800. Yesterday was 400, today's 381. So a little under 800 in 2 days. We're trying to get this back up after Friday's mishaps. So it's a good first step on that. And really happy how trading these value areas is working out. So going to continue to kind of, try to tweak some things. I really like yesterday and today's entries, risks. But yeah, there's room to capitalize on some of this volatility and capture a bigger move, which obviously we love that, right? We want to earn a little bit more money. Let's take a look at what I was watching on the 1 minute as well. So as always, I don't just pay attention to one thing. Really what I'm watching is I'm watching the 5 minute, I'm watching the 5 minute point of control, and I'm watching the 1 minute. So I'm getting my areas of interest off the 5 minute, I'm getting my confirmation off the 5 minute, but I'm also pairing that with the point of control from the 5 minute. So let's take a look. So this gave me some confidence in this trade, right? And you can see the juxtaposition of these two candles. So you see this green candle and this green candle. And they may look similar on the 5 minute, but they're not created equal. And the way that you can see in depth into those candles is using the point of control, or looking at the volume profile essentially of these candles. You see this candle that broke us out and brought us higher. That point of control is really low in the candle. That to me indicates there was a lot of buying down here that propelled price upwards, and there was nothing to stop it. And since there was nothing to stop it, like there wasn't a ton of sellers present, then you see this next candle continue that move up, right? Similarly to this candle right here, before that big move up, that volume profile, that point of control is really low. We see a nice move up on the following candle. That volume profile point of control is really low. We see that nice move up. But then the things shift, right? And this is something that I was watching that made me comfortable to enter, is that point of control now shifts up to the very top of that candle and pretty much right where price closed, right? So if I hover, it's about 480. That 5 minute candle wicked above 480, wicked up about another 16 points, but then came down and closed right at 480. This to me is telling me that there's some sellers in this area. If these were all buyers, you would see price move up. And then you can see the reaction afterwards, after we drop from 480 to 350, that's a 130 point move down to the downside. So there was obviously some selling happening at this price, and that's just a little bit of a look inside of that candle using that point of control. So seeing that shift from a very bullish point of control to a more of a potential reversal point of control, and then aligning that with a level that we expect to act as resistance, right? When you pair these things, it works together really well. And then if we look at the 1 minute, it'll take me a little bit to zoom out. Here we are. This was kind of an additional icing on the cake. So like I said, we had like this wedge. We broke out to the upside. We see nice volume as we make our move up, looking nice and bullish. But then what do we get? We get this weak price action, right? The candle bodies get smaller. They get upper wicks. They get subsequently, failing to move higher. And what do we see? We see this kind of rounding off. So we don't have this explosive move to the upside. Whenever you see a pullback or a move higher, you kind of get this especially on the 1 minute. I call it like a rounding off, right? Like you see it here. Its price is dropping aggressively, and then it slows down and rounds off and comes up. Price is moving up, it slows down and rounds off and comes down. Same thing. Price is moving up, slows down, kind of rounds off and comes down. And so we got that as well. So I was watching an area we expect a rejection. 5 minute wicks it, gets pushed down. Point of control is high up in the candle. We can't close above it. We look at the 1 minute. We see that volume is falling, and we're showing weak price action and kind of this rounding, failing to move higher. And all those things kind of align to give me three confluences are, the 5 minute point of control and the 1 minute, all in alignment with what I wanted to see. And that's why I took that trade. Like I said, I entered here. My stop was, just about 20 points. I think about 19 points, because that would be 15 points. And then I moved it just a little bit to be above that wick. So I added a few points additional of risk. And then you can see where my first take profit was, right at 30. And then I adjusted my runner down a little bit to these two wicks here. And I think that's the thing that I would improve on this, is that was just kind of arbitrary. Had I really thought about it and really tried to juice this out, I would have pushed that runner down to the value area low for that full rotation and captured another 80 points profit. So it's a good trade, but there's still, things we can learn from it and improve on, and we look to do so. But that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I trade live Monday through Friday. If you want to stop by the stream, please do so. You're always welcome. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.